Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it, you can find our podcast along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on patreon.com/Benfica Independent with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another... No. Let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. With you, as always, every Tuesday, bringing you the latest and greatest in Benfica land. 3 em 3. Vamos ao Marquês. Something like... I saw the 3 em 3 rumo ao Marquês. That was Red Baron. What's happening, Dave? How you been?
How's it going, Alfredo? What's going on? Lots of Freddies already in the chat. Shout out to the Freddies. It's feeling good. We're in the international break, and the team is rolling along here. These are the times that you wish we didn't have an international break, just so that the team wouldn't lose any momentum. But we're riding high right now, Alfredo.
Yeah, for sure. Now, welcome everybody to the chat. Saucy was in there first. Redman, Davy Hen, Justin Aragão, Diogo Reis, Redman 21, Red Baron, Michael Miranda, In Motion. What's happening, man? What's going on, brother? I know you've been traveling here to these parts, but you haven't been to the East Coast yet. When you come to the East Coast, make sure you look us up. Christian is not here today. Unfortunately, due to some personal conflicts, he can be here. So it's just me and Dave. We've handled this before, Dave. We could do it, right?
Oh, yeah, 2-man job.
That's right. Yeah, episode 479 is what we're serving up tonight. And on episode 479, we'll recap the Vitória game. We also discuss the UCL draw, in which we could consider ourselves very fortunate. And we will also talk about that dreaded international break. We'll have a list of players who will be away with their national teams. Dave, I also know that Roger Schmidt gave some time off to the rest of the squad. I think I want to say 9 days. I don't know if I read that right.
They didn't have to report back till this upcoming Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read.
Yeah. So I noticed that Verissimos' wife posted a picture, and they're in Marrakesh, so it makes sense. Again, welcome all the Freddies. Thanks for joining us once again every Tuesday night. Sorry for coming in a little late. We were trying to figure something out. We had to restart the whole thing, but we're doing good now. We're doing good. Anyway, let's start at the beginning, right? Like we would always should start, right, Dave? At the beginning, get my little,
I don't know. There was seasons in the past.
There's been times we've started at the end, right?
We've started in the end. We've started in alternate universes when the seasons weren't going right for us. But yeah, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, no, Beginning is always good. So let's start with the Guimarães game. Benfica hosted Vitória Sport Clube. They don't like to be called Guimarães. Vitória Sport Clube at Estádio da Luz this past weekend, and it was a rematch against a team, the first team that took away points from us domestically. I'll give you the lineup. We'll get it started. Vlaco Dimos is in goal. Ba, Silva, Otamendi, Grimaldo, Tino, Chiquinho, João Mário Neres, Rafa, and Ramos. Auschnitz was serving a one-game suspension after picking up his 5th yellow card. And, yeah. What did you think when you saw this lineup? I said, yeah, this is high-powered. I love it.
This is the lineup that we discussed last podcast, right? Auschnitz is out, but Rafa missed the last game due to illness, so he slides into that lineup, and Neres doesn't come out, right? So, just as we predicted here, it's Benfica's top lineup, their strongest 11 that they can go to, given the circumstances with Auschnitz. So, no real surprises there to the lineup.
Yeah, 5-1 final score. Convincing win by Benfica at a time where the team is rolling. And I think that these past... And look, I think you look at this game in general, and I don't think it was as impressive as we've seen, but there's moments in which we see this team firing on all cylinders, and I think it's a joy to watch, Dave. From the time that we suffered all last season, we suffered like freaking dogs. We suffered.
You can even take it back more than just last season. Really,
I've already erased my memory from before that.
Yeah,
but they've been painful, man.
They have.
It's been like that for a while. I mean, you talk about Vitória days. You talk about the later stages of Lage's tenure. Then you got the whole JJ fiasco that everybody thought that JJ was going to come in and save everyone or save Benfica because he's such a great coach, and he was
Jesus saves. Come on, Alfredo.
Jesus saves, and
we're in the Easter season here. You got to remember that Jesus. Saves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's go. But yeah, but it's been suffering, man. It's been tough times, especially doing a podcast, coming in here and thinking, man, do I really want to do this podcast? But obviously with the love for the club. But anyway, I think we deserve this. That's all I want to say. 5-1.
You're forgetting about Verissimo. It is what it is.
Oh,
yeah.
A couple
of spells with him in term. But yeah, definitely much better football we're watching from this club now. And I would definitely agree we all deserve this. Not just you and I, all Benfiquistas around the world deserve this,
without
this
a doubt.
Style of play that the team's playing.
Without a doubt. Convincing win. Goals by Ramos, João Mário 2 times, then an own goal, then Silva, Antonio Silva, finally scoring at Estádio da Luz. He hadn't scored a game at home yet, closing that out 5-1. Unfortunately, we gave up a goal there. But let's talk about this team. As just playing at Estádio da Luz, I think that realistically, right? And we always talk about in terms of Estádio da Luz or Inferno da Luz. It's our fortress. It's our safe place. It's our stronghold. But I think that when you look at the way Benfica has played at home, Dave, are we even afraid of any team coming in Estádio da Luz and giving us trouble?
No, and we shouldn't. Like, I think what we've been accustomed to these last couple of years where things haven't been right for us is we have struggled against these smaller teams at our home. And Chris and you and I, we've all said that Benfica should never be struggling against these smaller teams, and especially at home, right? That's our fortress. That's our home. But this season, I think I saw a stat hit there. This season, we've gotten in the 20 games that we've played at home, we've won about 18, if I'm not mistaken, and drawn twice. The PSG game and the Sporting game were the only 2 draws. So 18 wins and 2 draws in the 20 games played this season at the Estadio de Luz. So definitely a home field advantage, and it's great. This was the full season with the stadium back to full capacity. I know last year was at half to start the season, and with COVID, but a full season with the stadium full. So we definitely have a home field advantage when playing at the Estadio de Luz.
Yeah, no, it's been something consistent. And then when you get the team playing the way they've been playing, and they really feel the crowd behind them, I think it's just a locomotive that you can't stop. Diogo Reis said Chiquinho is legit. There, I said it. Look, I think that there's something to be said about the evolution of Chiquinho, right? And you guys both have heard myself and Chris and maybe Dave a little bit more subdued in terms of what we thought of Chiquinho. Do we see a team that's competitive in Europe? And I'm not talking about the Tugão, I'm talking about Europe, as Chiquinho being a part of it, the guy in the midfield, the engine. And obviously we've been saying no. But I think that Chiquinho over these past couple games, he really has improved and is really shutting a lot of people up, myself included, and I can't speak for Chris. But certainly there's a lot more quickness in terms of his decision making and the passes that he makes. He doesn't hold to the ball as much as he was. He's a lot quicker in understanding where the next pass is going to be, which was something that Enzo did really well. He got the ball, and before he even got the ball, he already knew where that ball was going to go. And that was what kept the team very dynamic and very unpredictable, by switching those balls, by passing between the lines. And I think that Chiquinho, albeit, I don't know if you could compare him to Enzo just yet, but I think he's learned that. He's learned that he can't hold the ball for too long, and he already has to know where the ball is going to go before he even gets the pass. And all of this, I think all of this really develops as you get more reps with your teammates, when you're aware of the tendencies of your teammates, when you're aware that if you get a pass on the left side of the midfield, you're going to look for an overlap from Grimaldo. And you might not even look, but if you hit that ball to that space, if you're familiar with how Grimaldo plays and how the rest of the team plays, then you know you don't even have to look. You could hit the ball there, and Grimaldo's going to be there. And I think the thing that's changed the most about Chiquinho is the reps that he's had with the team and understanding the team's dynamics and the team's movements. I was reading a stat here from Goal Point, and this was a halfway stat or a halftime stat. 93% accuracy in his passes, and 10 of them were forward passes. So none of this lateral stuff, the small passes. So I mean, he's kind of made he's making a name for himself. While a lot of people have doubted him that he could come in and really fill in big shoes left by Enzo, but he looks to be the real deal. Dave, have you changed your opinion on Chiquinho yet?
Listen, Chiquinho's playing great at the moment. We've caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle here. Let's ride out this year. We're on pace to do something special here. So no point in poo-pooing on Chiquinho at the moment. Let's enjoy this ride. Would I put my mortgage that Chiquinho is our starting midfielder for the next 2-3 seasons? No, but let's just enjoy this ride. He's playing well. He's playing full of confidence. So let's just enjoy it. But I wouldn't mortgage my future that he's our man going forward for the next 2-3 seasons. But enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, look, I think he's a valid option. I think he does a lot of things well, but he's also, I think he lacks that extra. And maybe star power is not the right word, but he lacks that extra status as a player, right? For me, Chiquinho is always going to be a good player, but he's going to be at the caliber of an Andre Almeida, right? Where he was consistent, didn't really do much to compromise at the height of his career. And it was a guy that stayed injury free. So I think that what Chiquinho's been doing is he's number one, he's proving Roger Schmidt right? Because we thought that Auschwitz for sure was the guy that was going to play in that position once Enzo left. And as it turns out, Chiquinho is the number one option for that. And he's proven over the past couple games, he's proven us that he's the right choice. And look, again, we could question the little things with Roger Schmidt here and there, but he continues to prove us wrong. So in Roger we trust, if I could say that, right? And we need to continue trusting Roger because, and I think that Carlos is saying, credit to Roger. No way we thought the ceiling was this high before January. Oh, with that, I didn't think so. I thought that he was gonna do well, but I thought there's a transition period, and I didn't think he was gonna do this well this early, because Benfica's been absolutely dominating, right? He's gotten players to play to the best of their abilities. He's gotten Ramos to the place where he was supposed to get. He's gotten the best season out of João Mário yet. Rafa's happy. Rafa's celebrating goals. And look, Tino's playing, right? Antonio Silva. I mean, all of these, you can't discount the Roger factor, because aside from the tactical aspect of being a coach and what he brings to the game, there's a man management aspect, and really be able to look at your squad and be able to pull everything out of your squad, or even adapt the tactics to meet what the squad's abilities are. And there's a lot of coaches that they have a lot of good players, but they don't have a team. PSG being one of them, obviously, right? And we all know why that is. But when you look at this Benfica team and you look how much a lot of these guys have improved, Grimaldo's having the best season of his career. João Mário, as I mentioned. And I think it's just, I think there's a lot of credit that Roger Schmidt takes here. Because it's not only, as I mentioned, it's not only tactics. So these are my tactics, and you guys have to conform to these tactics, is finding the best of the players and then tweaking the tactics a little bit so everybody fits to a T. And it's been great to watch it, and this game was no different. I think we were looking for a little bit of payback from Vitória de Guimarães. If you guys recall, that Vitória de Guimarães came after an international break, and I think that the team was a little distracted. And we didn't play all that well. And we were fortunate to come out of there with a tie, to be honest with you. We really didn't deserve a tie. But I think that the team felt that they needed to set the record straight. Again, first substitutions at the 75th minute, and that was after the 4-0, which happened in the 69th minute. Musa came in for Ramos, Neves came in for Florentino, Morata came in for Otamendi. I want to hear, Dave, do you have any theory as to why Roger Schmidt is not making these subs earlier? I want to hear from the chat. I mean, you guys in the chat, you have a theory on this?
Who knows? I mean, like, this got to be his style. I'd like to see if this is what he's done in previous teams as well, like going back to PSV and Leverkusen. If this is just something that he's, I don't want to say hesitant on making substitutions, but I mean, this has been almost we're past the halfway mark, and this is what he's done. I mean, that's his style, though. We didn't bite us in the ass this game, but Florentino is still sitting on that one yellow card away from missing the Porto match. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out against Rio Ave, whether we rest him. I don't think we should rest him, because he's already got the rest this week, plus another week of rest, and that's almost 2 weeks without playing a game. Then you're expecting him to be full force for Porto, but um, going to be interesting to see if Roger pulls them out of that game early. At least I would hope so. Learning from Arshness, um, or what he didn't do with Arshness, but Shaking was definitely, or Shaking Florentino sitting on that one yellow and is away from being suspended for that all important match against Porto.
Yeah, Saucy's saying that it's his MO. Carlos is saying he's clearly hesitant in breaking the rhythm. Yeah, it could be that. Today I forget what I was listening to, or either listening or reading, that it's not a matter of stamina, because when Benfica has the ball, they're kind of resting. There's no intensity. I think that when Benfica doesn't have the ball is when the intensity needs to be there, because there's that counter press that needs to happen. There's that high up on the field. There's the team needs to play compressed. So as the forwards go and press, the midfield has to go with them. The defense has to go with them. So when Benfica has the ball, is managing the game, they're kind of really resting, if you will. And I think that what I read was that resting in possession. I think that was the term that I read. I think it might have been on Visão de Jogo that I heard from Luis Freitas Lobo or something like that he said. But it makes sense. The other thing in terms of, I could have sworn, and look, by old days and old practices and habits, I could have sworn that Tino was going to force his yellow card so he could serve the suspension against Rio Ave, so then he could play against Porto. But it really shows the mentality of this team and of the coach, right? The next game is always the most important game. So let's field our strongest 11 in the following game and have the bench as strong as it can be so we could win it. Because we've seen Sporting do this, resting players against Marítimo for Benfica, and they ended up losing points in that game. So I think the approach is the right approach. You always approach the next game as your most important game, and then after that, then you address whatever needs you have, or whatever substitutions that you need to make. But your next game is always the most important thing. But I don't know. It's almost like counterintuitive, right, to what we're used to in terms of at the 60th minute, it's customary that substitutions are made. Most of the time, it's when a team needs a fresh injection of new blood in there to change something up. Making substitutions at 4-0 or immediately after 4-0, it makes a lot of sense to us, but maybe it doesn't make a sense to Roger. And I agree with Carlos. Maybe it's the fact that he doesn't want to disrupt the rhythm. I think it's, and for me, it's not so more saving guys and resting guys, because all of these guys are connected to a GPS device. So, the technical staff is probably getting live stats as the game goes on in terms of how much has this guy ran, how much has this guy sprinted, what kind of intensity minutes has he had. I think that the GPS may even monitor the heart rate. I think that Bra monitors heart rate, so you're able to monitor if you spent a certain amount of time at a certain heart rate level. So I don't think it's because of fatigue. I don't know. But it's a bit counterintuitive for us that we're so used to a certain way of things, and maybe this is perfectly normal in Roger's world, but for us it's like, well, why isn't he getting guys minutes? Why isn't he getting Sheldrup minutes? Why isn't he getting Musa minutes? Guys that are out there but really haven't had a big chunk of minutes, and that's the only reason why I would hope that he made the substitutions. Not so much because we need to rest guys, and maybe some of the older guys we need to rest, but like I said, I think when we have possession, we do a lot of resting. I don't know, Dave. I don't know. It could be anything, really, but it's difficult to pinpoint why he does that. And out of all the media that we have at press conferences, nobody's ever asked him, you're up 6-0. I mean, 4-0 at the 69th minute, or 3-0 at the half. Why in the 60th minute did you not make subs? Nobody's asked him that question. Out of all the questions that they could ask him, they rather ask him about why Rafa's not playing for the national team. I don't know. It's just stupid shit like that, man. I just don't understand. Let's see what some of these guys are saying here.
And who would have thought that we would have seen Chernobyl make his Estadio de Luz appearance before guys like Tengstad and Sheldrup, right? Like we've been clamoring, like we know they made their Benfica debuts in Maritimo, but Chernobyl getting some minutes here from Roger. Hopefully that's a good sign that negotiations for an extension are underway and we can get this guy locked down, because I know he's had a lot of potential since his signing a couple of years back.
Yeah, I think that maybe there was progress in the negotiations. So I think that's kind of like a sign, like, okay, well, you give us something, we'll give you this. And Cher has been on the bench. He just made his debut, and what better game to make his debut than he played Champions League, right, Dave?
No, he didn't. He got called up to the roster.
So. Yeah, against Vitória. So his last game, he came in. And look, maybe it's just like, well, you give me some, I'll give you some. One hand washes the other, and hopefully Benfica can lock him up, because I'm not a huge fan of his style. I think that for the position that he plays, he lacks a little bit of intensity. He's a little bit too laid back for a guy that plays at 8. But he's 18 years old, so maybe he'll just progress a little bit. But I think it's a step in the right direction. Saucy saying, at about the 68th minute last game, I looked up at the clock and said, well, here comes the subs. LOL. Scaro Boy, Roger will not rest Tino. Rio Ave game is just as important as the Porto game. I completely understand. We just finished saying that. Roger said, we're not scared of anybody. We don't need to take yellows or rest players, says Reigning Entertainment. Diogo Rey says, I honestly think it's because he wants his main guys focused and in form. Also, no player playing consistently well like they are wants to sit. I completely understand. Let's see what else guys saying here. Yeah, Diogo Rey saying in regards to Nador, unlike Diego Jr., he could have been basking the same wave, and it seems he's seen his way out. Yeah, look. I think that I'm encouraged by what we're seeing from Cher in terms of the approximation from the club to him, and not leave him completely way out at all. So I'm enjoying that. But yeah, another dominating champagne performance by Benfica, if you could say that. 3-goal lead into the second half, and then in the second half we just managed the tempo of the game, and we waited for Guimarães. It's unfortunate, as I mentioned, that we gave up a goal. That's a clean sheet for Vlaco Dimos, but nonetheless, I think that the important thing was to get those 3 points, because both Braga and Porto were playing each other on Sunday, and they ended up splitting the points, which means that Benfica is now 10 points up on Porto, 12 up on Braga, 18 up on Sporting. Dave, numbers so we can move.
Yeah, Gonçalo Ramos with his 24th goal of the season, 16th in league competition. He's now scored in the last 5 consecutive games at the Estadio de Luz, so maybe make some money, place a bet for him to score against Porto when we play at the Estadio de Luz next game. João Mario with his 5th brace of the season, now the sole leader in goals scored with his 17th. And João Mario is only 2 penalty goals away from tying Eusebio's record for most penalty goals in a single season, 14 by a Benfica player.
I can't wait to hear our opponents talk about our penalty record season and João Mario. Anyway, Scarrow Boy, yeah, I forgot that. Endor scored a great goal for the B team the day after the Guimarães game. Yeah, because he only played a few minutes for the main team. He could play with the B team, and God knows the B team needs help. But yeah. He also says Chernador is signing his extension. There's no way Benfica will call him up to the first team without these negotiations being close to be done. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that if there's an impasse in the negotiations, Benfica is just not moving forward. There's no sense of giving time to players if your mind is elsewhere or if you don't want your future to be at Benfica. I agree with that. Turning our attention now to the Champions League draw, and I think that I forget who was trading messages with on Twitter that they said that they felt that the draw was going to be rigged to the point that Bayern would be on one side and Real Madrid would be on another side. But Dave, I can't remember of a draw this favorable for Benfica.
Yeah,
ever.
I was in disbelief. I was extremely happy. I wish the draw was over, and I was still sitting there shaking in excitement and the possibilities and the dreams of how far this team can go. This was definitely the best case scenario. I think we all discussed that. We wanted to avoid Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City, Napoli as well. But really, we only have to play Napoli if we get past Inter and Napoli get through Milan, which they should. But on paper, this is best case scenario for Benfica, and the path is there for us to make the Champions League final.
Yeah, no, look, I think that it's the side of the bracket, man. It's really good, and I think if there was any teams that we wanted to face, and regardless of us being where we are and not really being afraid and being confident that you'll get the result at home or you will dominate a team at home like we have with PSG at times, with Juventus for sure. But yeah, I mean, Inter was the one team that we felt that would be nice because we saw them play Porto and they didn't really impress me. I think that they do have their traits and their qualities that could be bad for Benfica. And I think the most important thing is to be able to get a result in Milan and bring it to Stade de Luz and force Inter to come at you. No, I'm sorry. It's Stade de Luz first. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get the result at Stade de Luz, right? Get a positive result at Stade de Luz, and then force Milan to come at you in Italy. And I think that's a different story because if you don't get the result at Stade de Luz and you go to Milan, you're going to see the same thing that you saw from Inter against Porto. It's a team that defends very well and is not afraid to play that catenaccio that we know that the Italians are famous for. In terms of the Napoli AC Milan, I think that Napoli has been dominating this year in Italy. I don't think that AC Milan is going to be much of an opponent, but when you got Champions Leagues, you got different motivation. You got players that get up for these types of games. So I don't know. It's anybody's game on that side, but I think that Benfica has enough, and especially if there's no injuries until then. Because Dave, do you know the dates? I think it's Rio Ave, Porto, Inter.
Yeah. I've got
right?
them. So April 2nd we have Rio Ave. The 7th is against Porto. 11th at home to Inter, and then 19th is away in Milan against Inter.
Yeah. No, Chico Marciai, Chico. Only bad thing is to play the second leg away. Aside from that, that was perfect. Look, there's people that look at it, that look at it differently, right? There's people that prefer to play the second leg at home, because you're in your own stadium with your own fans, and you can control the narrative in terms of the game. But I think that, look, we saw what they did to Porto. They won 1-0 in Milan, brought it to Porto, and they just played defense, and they were able to get it out. In this case, I think it's favorable because of the opponent. That if Benfica gets a positive result, they're starting to lose, as I mentioned, and we go to Inter Milan. Inter has now, they have to come and play. They have to come and play, and when they come and play, they open and expose themselves, and I think it's perfect for Benfica. So, but the key is to get that home field advantage, and really take it to Milan and be able to play the way that you have been. I don't think there's any Benfiquista that looks at this draw that's fearful or hesitant in terms of what kind of confidence we should have on this team, and I'm very confident that provided that this team stays healthy and we don't lose any key guys between now and then. I'm knocking on wood. Did you hear that, Dave?
I heard
it. Provided we don't anybody that everybody stays healthy, I think we should have a good chance to meet either AC or Napoli, any other game on the way to the final. And I think, like, you look at this path, and yeah, can we dream, Dave? What do you think? Is if you have to look at this whole thing, right, and without even Benfica playing 1 minute yet of the quarterfinals, but you look at this path that Benfica has, what would you say? What kind of percentage would you give Benfica to make it to the Champions League final?
40%, I would say.
40%?
40%. Inter doesn't scare me. They're having an up and down season. They made it this far in the Champions League, but really, if you look at the Italian league, teams 2 through 6, really they're not having the greatest of seasons. So that includes Inter and Milan, Roma, Lazio. In that mix, they really don't. Nobody wants to run away with those positions. They're all win 1 game, lose 2, and Inter and both Milan clubs are not having the greatest of seasons. So the only team on our side of the bracket that scares me is Napoli, as they're running away with the Italian league season.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically if we get past Inter, right? I think that we're in consensus, right? So you think that Napoli's favored in that fixture?
Yes. Yeah. At 60.
Yeah, I would think that I would tend to think that it's more of a. I don't think it's less 50-50 for me, but it could. I think it's 60-40 for Benfica, that Benfica gets past Napoli.
And that's probably us being a little bit home bias, a little bit biased. Because if you ask other people, they'll probably give a bigger favorite to Napoli. I think if Napoli wasn't in it, Benfica would be this season's Champions League Cinderella darlings. But I think everyone's got that pegged on Napoli at the moment. So. But it'll be good if that's the semifinal, Benfica Napoli. That's one hell of a semifinal, and we're in for a treat if that's the case. But I think I would still give the slight advantage to Napoli.
Yeah, Boris is saying that he wants to see the same final as 1962. Scaro Boy, first we got Bruges, and then this. This is our opportunity to make history. I get it, man, and I think that last time that Porto won the Champions League, everything seemed to line up, and then they got a couple breaks on some key games that they played. Let's see, game by game we will get there. Flavio Ferreira, Scaro Boy says, don't sleep on Napoli. That team is playing amazing football. I hope we beat Inter and Milan beat Napoli. Hey, we never know. That could be it. If we and Napoli go through, we will see great games. Yeah, I agree. Glenn Gomes was the person that I was having a conversation in terms of the drawing being rigged. And he's on here saying if we were on the other side of the bracket, opponents would say they wanted to keep first place teams away from you. Yeah. And Chico Marcelino is always is also saying that that missing, was he saying, was he, oh no, yeah, Chico Marcelino was saying that missing Otamendi. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to read his comments and run the show at the same time. But yeah, I think that if you're going to miss Otamendi, you want to miss him at Italy to lose, right? Not in Italy where you need the nitty gritty. Let's see. Yeah. So excited, man. Dave, I'm excited about our prospects, and certainly at this stage we could have seen a Bayern or a Real Madrid or City. I'm not too concerned about Chelsea. But yeah, we really lucked out in terms
I guess what could have made this draw even better if it was Milan and Chelsea on the other half and throw Napoli against Real Madrid if we really wanted to get picky with our selections. But yeah, I couldn't have drawn it any better, and the pathway is drawn, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Really, I this is definitely the first in my lifetime that I can remember a reasonable path to a Champions League final for Benfica. So put it that way.
Yeah. Look, and I agree that Napoli's basically running away with the Calcio this year. They've been very consistent, or maybe the other ones have just been inconsistent. But I'm sure that Napoli's doing pretty well. I haven't looked in on what's going on at the Calcio, but certainly Juventus has been what they've been. Inter, far from impressive. Roma, same thing. AC Milan has been inconsistent also. So I think that Napoli's the consistency and the way that they're playing is has them running away. I think that it's all but wrapped up. Carlos was saying missing Otamendi is a real concern. Yeah, sorry, I know I read that somewhere. But yeah, good draw. Excited about it. I don't know about you, Dave. Every Benfica should be excited about it because we talk about if we'll ever see Benfica win the Champions League in our lifetime, and maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because we still got to beat Inter and we still got to beat whoever comes out of the other side and then be in the final. But if Benfica go to the final, this would be the third or fourth final that I've seen Benfica in and during my lifetime, which would be nice. Dave, any plans to go to Istanbul if Benfica makes it?
No, not with a wedding coming up. I have no plans, but that would be pretty funny. If we go to Istanbul, we can send somebody to go pick up Bruno Lage's balls that he left there from back in the day when he started all those youngsters for what was that? Was that Europa League or Champions League?
Yeah. No, there was a Europa League. I think it was we got bounced from the Champions to the Europa League. And that was the first game of the Europa League, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he started. Who were our young guys at that? I think Florentino was still probably made his debut.
Yeah, Florentino was there. Jetson, João Felix. I remember.
Yuri, I believe.
The Tavares kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a whatever, man. We have to look back and kind of laugh at the whole thing. I want to know if anybody's in the chat, if we make it to Istanbul, how many of you guys are planning on going? I'll be interested in seeing that. Tomas Tavares, yeah. Tomas and the other dude. Nuno Tavares, the dog lover. Right, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, he was the dog lover.
The dog lover. He was French kissing the dog on Instagram. Beautiful. Diogo Reis, he's got his hand up. Who else is planning on going to Istanbul, man? That's a crazy lifetime, once in a lifetime trip, and I think that if we get half the capacity in terms of seating available for fans, so it's not like an away game that you get the typical 2,500. Boris is saying that he's working in Bulgaria, so he might walk over there. Stone's throw, Istanbul in Bulgaria. Reigning Entertainment saying my worry is how expensive and if the tickets will be sold out. I don't recall where Reigning is, but I remember once upon a time when Benfica went to the final against Chelsea, and especially here, I know that there was travel agencies here, companies that chartered flights, and the price of the flight included I think 2 nights in a hotel and a ticket to the game. And I don't recall what the price was. But look, how often do you get to go see Benfica in a Champions League final? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyway, Dave, international break or inter-boring break, as I call it. What? I know that we were talking about Roger Schmidt giving 9 days off to the squad, which I think they deserve. Who are the guys that are working during vacation?
We've got Antonio Silva, João Mario, and Gonçalo Ramos, who were called up to the Portuguese national team. Otamendi went back to Argentina. Odysseus is playing for the Greek national team. Arsnes is playing for the Norwegian team. Ba got a call up for the Danish team. Musa got a call up to the Croatian national team. And then some of our younger guys here, Samu got called up to the under-21 team. João Neves and Andre Gomes to the under-19 team. And Sheldrup got called up to the under-19 Norwegian team.
Yeah, so quite a list. And my hope is that all those guys come back healthy and nothing happens to the team. Dave, are you concerned that every time we have an international break, we kind of sputter a little bit?
I mean, that is a concern. That's what we saw when we first dropped points against Guimarães. That was after international break, and just
we also had Braga. We had Braga after the World Cup.
Braga. Yeah, that's true. It's a concern, but we got to trust in Roger Schmidt. It's just really disappointing because I think it was only 2-3 weeks ago that Chris had concerns that the team was only winning 1 or 2-0, really not convincing victories. But now we have a 5-1 victory against Guimarães. We put away Maritimo early, and now we're starting to see the results that we all were hoping for. So this international break couldn't have come at a worse time, but as long as everybody stays healthy, I'm sure that Roger will whip him into game shape, and that's what we have the Rio Ave game to work out our kinks before we got Porto on the Friday there.
Yeah, I think it breaks up some of the routines that the team has in terms of play, rest, train, prepare for the next game. Sometimes we got the game halfway through the week or midweek, and I think that just breaks it up. I'm a lot more. I'm concerned about any injury problems. I think at this time of the season, I think the team is in a position where it's almost like riding a bike. You don't forget it. You just get back into it. You shake off some of the rust. The guys with the national teams obviously will have trained every day basically with their respective national teams. But I'm concerned about this momentum that we've built up. and especially with the Rio Ave game away, which is always a tricky game, and then you got Porto at the Luge, and you got Inter. I think that is a delicate run of games, and I think that because of this international break, it kind of puts a little bit of a question mark in terms of what we're going to see from the team. But as I mentioned, I think that at this point the team is well drilled, and they should all be up to par in terms of what's needed. So I'm more concerned about injuries because it's late in the season. A lot of guys have a lot of games on their legs. Now they got this international break where it's 2 games compressed within 10 days, if I'm not mistaken. Hard training sessions, right? And with the national team, you want to make sure that you're out there and working as hard as you can because you're representing your country. For some guys, they're getting a call up for the first time to their national teams, and they're always going to work extra hard. So I'm a little bit concerned about in terms of the effort that's going to be put forth by a lot of these players that are going to be away to their national teams, and to see if maybe they don't there's nothing that they kind of force themselves into an injury as a result of a little bit of extra effort. So I don't know. But that's what I'm most concerned about. Justin Aragon says the same thing. As long as our guys don't get injured, that's all I care about. Yeah. Diogo Reis, giving the guys this extra time, hopefully fix the issue of pitch rust because they won't complain when Roger pushes them when they get back. That's Diogo. Flavio Reis says, if we go through Casa Benfica, New Jersey, put a travel package together, let us know. I think that usually there's. I remember, man, a long time ago. Well, not long time ago, but when we played Milan. And I've also heard from when Porto has been in finals, there's always places, whether it's a travel agency or whether Casa do Benfica puts together a package, which is a charter flight, a ticket to the game, and I think like a one night or a hotel stay, something like that, man, something like that. I know that there's going to be packages because there's going to be a lot of seats available, and I wish I could do the trip, but unfortunately I won't be able to do it. But everybody's excited, I'm sure, and everybody's looking forward to that. Dave, what else we got? That's it, right?
What else we got? Yeah, that's it. Unless you want to go through the April schedule, they haven't released all the times and dates yet. After
so let's go through the April schedule, and then we'll leave.
Yeah. So on the Sunday, April 2nd, we have Rio Ave. Then Good Friday, April 7th, we've got Porto at home. The Tuesday, April 11th, we have Inter still at home. And then these dates haven't been confirmed, but the weekend of the 16th, we are away at Chaves. Then we fly to Milan to play the return leg on Wednesday, April 19th. Then the weekend of April 23rd, we play Estoril. And then we wrap up April away at Gil Vicente on the weekend of the 30th. So seven games here scheduled in April in a 30-day month. So busy month for the team here.
Yeah, and Benfica's 6 wins away from the title, and obviously Porto comes within those 6 games. So I think that if we beat Porto, mathematically we're still not champions, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that at that point we have the title wrapped up. I don't want to speak too soon, Dave. I know that we're all excited, and
whenever it happens, it'll happen. Just put it that way.
Everybody's excited, and we're all giddy about what we've seen from this team, and everybody's excited, and you can almost feel it. And I wonder how much, I was telling you this, Dave, before we came on. I wonder how long it's going to take for those reservado signs to come out. So
My background is ready. I'm already there. I'm ready to be at the boom ball again and celebrating.
Yeah.
It's been way too long, and like we've said here, it's about time that we've been witness to some good football from
Yeah.
this team here. So
Yeah, and Scaro boy, thanks for the PSA, brother. This weekend we have our women team playing Sporting at Stade Luge. It's free for sausages and €5 for the general public. Let's break the record, man. Let's break the record in terms of attendance. I believe last game we played them at Stade Luge was a record-setting game. I think I read in the paper. I read on Abola, I think 2 teams that played today set the record for most attendance at a women's game in Europe. I forget who the teams were, but I read that today. My memory's shot. But yeah, man, if you go out to Stade de Luz, man, it's always a nice time. If you're in Portugal, go out to Stade de Luz, watch the women play. They've beaten Sporting bad every single game that they've played this year, and I'm hoping that this will be another one. Let's see what else we got here. Let's say it's definitely Carlos saying it's definitely already jumping in the atoms of our blood. Yeah, of course. Reigning Entertainment, we have to go through this together, support the team through everything with complete belief in them. No disrespect to our opponents, but Benfica before everyone. Yeah, I think it's always been within Benfica's DNA as a club that we respect our opponents. There's a great deal of respect for opponents, unlike other teams. Anyway, that's all I got. Dave, say goodbye to everyone.
ciao. Have a good night. We will not be here
Yeah.
next, right? We'll be away on international break.
Yeah, don't count on us to do an international break where we take a vacation. Roger Schmidt has called me personally. He said, "You guys go ahead and take a week off." Thanks, Roger. Dankeschön. Is that you say thank you in German? I think
Sounds correct to me.
sounds about right.
Yeah. Don't come to me
All right, everyone.
for languages.
Thanks, us geography and math and you for languages. We're by any stretch of the imagination are we any type of scholars for sure. For scholars, we have Carlos. Carlos is a scholar. All right, everybody. Thanks for keeping us company. Thanks for keeping the chat alive. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week, and I'm sorry that Benfica won't be playing this weekend. So. You can watch the Benfica women. They're always very entertaining, as I mentioned. Take care, everyone. Later.